The horror show. The horror show. Wow, this was a horror show, all right, or the horrible show, I should say. This show. Extreme Rules, huh? The horror show. You know, I said this on Friday coming into this show before we got to this pay-per-view. Apparently there were going to be 3 of these insane matches, but now it was bumped down to 2 tonight. The bar fight didn't happen on this show, and I guess it's going to be moved to SmackDown this Friday, because I was wondering why nobody wasn't talking about it tonight, and it didn't even end up playing. So I just want to get that out of the way before we even go anywhere further with this review, because I said, why would they save it for SmackDown? I guess they didn't want to put 2 cinematic matches on the same show, so I guess you gotta wait till Friday, and we'll see how that whole thing turns out to be. But this pay-per-view, man, I don't know. Listen, I missed the pre-show. I don't think I missed anything. I just read that Kevin Owens beat Murphy, so that's all I really need to know. So nothing really to take from that. But this Extreme Rules show, the horror show, there's a lot to talk about this. There is a lot to talk about, especially the ending of the show. More cinematic wrestling, folks. More cinematic wrestling. But where do I begin, with the beginning of this show, huh? Tag team titles on the line. Table match. New Day, Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura. This was not actually bad. It actually was kind of good, to be honest, as an opening of this entire show. Basically, it's a tornado tag and whatnot, but I actually did enjoy this show. Had some pretty cool spots out there. I did kind of like when Kofi jumped outside the ring and ran to the table, which Nakamura and Cesaro threw at him. Big E spearing Cesaro through the ropes onto the floor. That looks always deadly. There was a lot of cool spots in here. Trying to use the table and whatnot. Nakamura getting another table up, setting ringside. Kofi and him hitting a trust fall onto him. Big E pretty much taking Cesaro down with a suplex then. New Day had another table and pretty much set up the table, so you had a double stack table right by the announce table and whatnot. Big E was like he was going to suplex him going up for it, but Nakamura stopped them. Kofi pretty much went back after Nakamura then, and he sent Kofi over the top rope then Nakamura. Cesaro then pretty much threw Big E, I think he was back in the ring. He hit the swing on him right after. Nakamura ended up hitting a kick to Big E's head right after that. Kofi had got back up and tried to go for both Nakamura and Cesaro back inside the ring then as Big E was down. But Kofi, I guess he was going to put him on the top rope, and he was going through those tables and whatnot. And I guess he was going to try to hit a Hurricane Rana, but Cesaro was able to hold himself there. Nakamura came in, pretty much started hitting Kingston in. Big E was already down, so he couldn't make the save. And next thing we know, Cesaro powerbomb Kofi through both of the 2 tables onto the outside from the top rope. So Cesaro and Nakamura becoming the new tag team champions. I'm not mad at this. This was actually a pretty good match to kick off the show. Wasn't really bad. Good opening. I don't mind Cesaro and Nakamura winning the titles, to be honest. New Day, I felt like they didn't really have anybody to face, and ever since they kind of won the titles back, it was kind of stale. When did they win it? A week after WrestleMania, during that following week, if I remember. And they won the tag titles back at the time. So it's like New Day had the belts, and don't get me wrong, they had some title matches here and there, but it almost felt like it kind of got stale after a while, because they've been tag team champions, I don't even know how many times at this point, like 6, 7 times, I believe. And some people think this was still like a consolation prize, after the whole WWE title thing with Kofi and whatnot, or maybe that was already sooner when they lost it, then won it back and whatnot. But I don't know, I feel like New Day didn't really have a lot of teams to face right now, and Cesaro and Nakamura, I don't mind. I'm glad they're getting something out of this, some type of gold. I know Cesaro's been tag team champion almost multiple times in the past. And I think this is the first time Nakamura has ever, I guess, had a tag team title. So at least it's different So I'm not really even mad at this. It's actually, like I said, it was actually a good match to open up the show. So, like I said, new tag team champions. I'm not really mad at this. Good match. I'll give it that. Next, though, we then got Bayley versus Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha was out there. Nikki Cross was out there. A very good match, I should say. I didn't also mad in this match either. Now, I don't think anybody really thought Nikki Cross was ever going to win this title in general. Really, I already knew Bayley was going to win regardless of this whole match, because I don't think anybody really believed, like I said, Nikki Cross was ever going to win. But a very good match, though, I should say. Very enjoyable, not bad. Now, the finish, that may cause some questions, because did Bayley need Sasha cheat just to win this match? Because it's Nikki Cross, for God's sakes, right here, okay? Not saying Nikki Cross isn't bad, but kind of given where she's at right now, it's Nikki Cross. And Bayley has beaten Nikki Cross almost several times in a lot of these tag matches in several weeks now, with her getting the pin over her. So, did she really need Sasha Banks to get involved? Because Sasha ended up slipping her one of her, her rings that had the boss time on there, almost like brass knuckles. And Bliss went over to get the referee, which the referee was distracted, and Bayley ended up hitting Nikki Cross in the gut with those like brass knuckles, and well, it wasn't brass knuckles, but. And then, Bayley did her finisher, whatever that was called, not the belly to belly, but the other finisher, and Bayley ended up retaining the champion right there. Championship, I should say, right there. So, yeah, come on. Who really thought Bayley was ever going to lose this match? I never really saw it coming. And, like I said, I like Nikki Cross, but she was never going to win the title, though. Okay, it was never going to happen. So, yeah, Bayley continues to retain and, get help from Sasha. But she probably could have just went over clean and even have a dirty finish, really, from this. Now, next, I know they showed the Firefly Funhouse, which, for some reason, everything looks like it's Halloween in July right now. Which, Bray Wyatt's dressed up like a spooky scientist and in the black and white. And what color... it's the Rambling Rabbit or something. Well, it was he blamed the Rambling Rabbit once they went back to like the regular color and everything. But he went back to being a mad scientist, and it's gonna be a real horror show tonight, he said. So yeah, that's Bray Wyatt for you. We got Halloween in July, okay? Halloween in July. But next, right after that, though, which was supposed to happen, was the U.S. title on the line. Now, there's something strange out of all this. There was no U.S. championship on the U.S. title on the line because Apollo Crews was not there due to a physical or something that he failed. And they said that Bobby Lashley, I guess beat him up a few weeks ago, and because of that, he was not able to compete tonight. Bobby Lashley and MVP came out, and that says, let that be a lesson to anyone foolish enough to step into the ring with Lashley. And MVP basically called himself the new U.S. champion that Crews, forfeited and whatnot. So he gets the new title, and MVP and Lashley left. So I don't know what happened to Apollo Crews. I know Apollo Crews hasn't even been on the show in the past few weeks, ever since they brought in that new U.S. title. Now, could, the whole he didn't pass a physical be another code name for... he basically got the virus? I don't know, okay? I don't know if he did get the virus in that. I haven't seen anybody announce it or say anything about it. So I'm not sure what's going on with Apollo Crews right now, but we have not seen him in multiple weeks. So I'm going to assume he has the coronavirus. I don't know. I don't know what's up with the guy right now. I just know he hasn't been here. So what was the point of even still doing this segment for this match, which it wasn't even a match anyways? He basically just gave MVP the title. So what can you really take from this, huh? What can you really take from this? MVP's the new champion. Crews, I don't know. So hopefully he's okay, or whatever's going on with him, whatever's WWE saying, but it could be another code name for he has the virus. So we don't know. I'm just taking a guess, but I guess we'll find out whatever happened to Apollo Crews sooner or later. But next, let's get into the next match right here. The Eye for an Eye match. Eye for an Eye. Eye for an Eye, folks. What do I have to say about this, huh? Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins, you know what's so funny? This was actually a good match. I actually did hate this match. Now, of course, they got some tools involved, and some tables, and some kendo sticks and whatnot, and Ray attacked Seth, while doing his entrance when he came from behind, but, yeah, like I said, you get to see some weapons, but this was actually not a bad match. Now, some would argue that, why are they putting on this long of a match out here if these guys hate each other so much and they're trying to rip each other's eye out of their socket? Why still almost put on a regular wrestling match at the same time? Think about that. But, like I said before, this was actually a really good match. And, of course, like I said, trying to use the tables, using the chairs, even using, the kendo stick, breaking the kendo stick, and, Rollins trying to stick it into Ray's eye and whatnot. Ray still able to get out of it. Hit him with several moves, get him with the frog splash, and even trying to put his thumb into his eye, trying to gouge it out of there. Ray hitting the tornado DDT, going for the kendo stick again, hitting Rollins in the back with it. Even one trying to use that kendo stick and power bomb to the barricade with it. Ray even doing 2 sunset power bombs to the outside or to the barricade, the plexiglass and whatnot. 2 times he did. And, Mysterio even breaking the kendo stick and tried to stick it in Rollins' eye right after. And then, Ray ended up hitting the 619 and whatnot. Mysterio was trying to even hit him with a curb stomp on the outside of the ring. And I guess he put the cover off of his eye, off his mask and everything, and tried to jam it into Rollins' eye. And then, he tried to, he jammed into Rollins' eye, and then he tried to stick Rollins' eye into the, into the steel steps right there, basically the same things Rollins did to Ray. Rollins was able to get out of it. Low blow. Rollins hits the curb stomp, and then he took Ray's face and stuck it back into that steel steps. I guess took off his eye, and I guess they said it was out, and Seth Rollins won. Now, we never even saw the eye. You have to look really close. Listen, I thought this was going to be some CGI cinematic thing from this. We basically got a regular match, which was actually pretty good, with a very bad finish at the same time. So you barely saw the eye, and it looked like they probably bought this eye from Party City or something. And then Rollins, I guess he tried to act sick, and he puked all over the place, which every time when he just threw up, all I could think of was Vince McMahon saying, he's gotta puke. And what, okay, that's basically what you can take from this. He's gonna puke. And some say the throw up actually looked more disgusting than Ray's eye being taken out. So with his eye, gone, Ray's son and several referees went up to help Rey Mysterio. So, listen, this whole stipulation was dumb to begin with, okay? The whole trying to pull the eye out of the other guy's socket and whatnot was already insane enough, and I knew Seth Rollins was going to win this match in general because he lost on Raw last Monday to Kevin Owens, so I knew he was going to beat Rey Mysterio. Where does Rey go from this? I don't even know, depending on what his contract is right now. Last time I heard he was working and he wasn't even under contract, so he probably signed another one, or everybody's still going to assume he's probably going to AEW or something like that after this. I don't know, okay? I have zero clue what's the status of Rey right now, but when they did this whole eye thing, it sounded ridiculous, and then you just have to look real close, and you can see like the fake eyeball from his socket, and they gotta hold it. I guess they didn't even show it all the way. You'd think it would be a whole bunch of blood falling out of his head or anything, and they said they got the nerve damage or something like they said later in the night, and I guess they could stick it back in. So yeah, I don't know what to say from all this. This whole stipulation made no sense, okay, but I like the match, just a bad finish. It was a dumb finish. That's all I can say from this. Good match, horrible finish. The eye, we took the eye out of his head, and then so we got another guy throwing up. Next, which a match I arguably would have called maybe the best match out of the entire night at first, Asuka versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. This was a great match, I will say. These women kicked the living crap out of each other. This was great. Real great. 20 minutes they got. I enjoyed this match a lot. They went in. Asuka just throwing them German suplexes looked deadly. Sasha doing those double knees looks deadly half the time. Asuka with kicks looks deadly half the time. But Everything was going out really, really well until the finish, the final 5 minutes of this match. Now, Kairi Sane and Bayley were out there, but, next thing you know, Bayley and Kairi fighting outside the ring. Bayley hits the Bayley to belly. Asuka has the Asuka lock. Ref's distracted. Bayley tried throwing one of the titles, which the ref had stopped Bayley. And, Bayley tried to get back in with the other title, but Asuka ended up kicking her in the head. And Bayley went on the outside then. Sasha ended up knocking her down, and Sasha had the title belt herself. And she was going to hit Asuka with the title belt, but next thing you know, Asuka, I guess the referee took the belt away from Sasha. Asuka comes in with the mist. Sasha gets out the way, ends up hitting the referee with the mist to the face. Bayley gets back in, hits Asuka with the title, and then Bayley, I guess, was trying to wake the referee thought, so what I thought, but ends up taking the referee's shirt off, puts the referee's shirt on herself, and then just makes the 3 count for Sasha. And I guess the timekeeper didn't know whether to ring the bell or not, and Bayley told him to ring the bell. So Sasha is now a double champion. Overbooking here. Over freaking booking. Great match. I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed it a lot. Until the finish, which looked really, really bad. Made no sense. Now, I thought it would have made more sense if, okay, Asuka did miss the miss and hit the referee. Then, Bayley could still do the same thing with hitting the title belt. But she could have just woke the referee up, and Sasha could have won right there because Sasha helped Bayley earlier, so now Bayley's helping Sasha. Then they could have went with this double title thing. So now we don't even know if it was legal. It's not even legal because Bayley's not a referee, okay? Bayley's not a referee, so it doesn't even really count. That's why I seem confused by all this. It was just too much going on, too much interferences, just everything went all over the place. It built up to some nice moments right there to see who was going to win, but they lost me once Bayley just took the referee's shirt and then pinned, and Sasha's apparently a double champion. Well, then again, everybody in wrestling is a double champion right now, but this made no sense. Okay, this finish made zero freaking sense right here. I enjoyed the match, but between this and the eye for an eye finish, these are probably the worst finishes throughout the entire night. Okay, I did not like that. That was bad. That was really, really bad out there. So I don't know who helped produce this match or helped book this finish. Bruce Pritchard. It was really bad. Like I said, we had really good matches, but horrible finishes. That's what I could take from this. Now, next we move, which was not the main event. Well, I guess it wasn't going to be the main event. The WWE Championship on the line. Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre. We still don't know what Dolph Ziggler's stipulation is, but until the match started, Ziggler said it's going to be an Extreme Rules match for only him. Because if McIntyre even uses a weapon and gets disqualified, he lose the title. So this was actually kind of smart. From a heel perspective, that was actually a smart move. I'm the only one who can be an Extreme Rules match. If you use any weapons against me, then you will lose the title. So that actually wasn't bad. Now, this match would now be the new match of the night, if you ask me, between McIntyre and Ziggler. This was a great match. I liked it. Now, of course, Ziggler was immediately going to go for weapons and whatnot, and McIntyre tried to stop him, and he wanted to suplex Ziggler even through a table, but if McIntyre did that, he would have lost the title right there. And, McIntyre pretty much going for Ziggler and calling him pathetic and whatnot, picking him up when he said that, but Ziggler ended up kicking him in the nuts. He started hitting McIntyre with a chair several times, and pretty much hit him again, knocking him out to ringside at one point. But Ziggler even jumping off the apron, but Drew caught him, suplexed him into the announce table. That looked pretty cool. Drew's got to get back in before the 10 count because it still counts against him. He pretty much cleared the announce table. Like he was going to suplex him off of it, but Ziggler was able to get out of it. He hit the Famouser onto the floor. He hit him on the table. The table didn't break, but it ended up getting to the floor then. which, once again, Drew McIntyre had to get in the ring before the 10 count, or he would have lost the title. The title then. But Ziggler, like I said, once again, trying to use more weapons in this match, even getting a table, I remember, and he had it set up. Drew was trying to go for the Claymore kick, but Ziggler ended up hitting him with a zigzag. He super kicked Drew onto the table. Ziggler went to the top rope, hit a big elbow drop, and tried to get him back into the, get in the ring, but Drew was able to get back in before the 10 count as he scrambled to get in there. He ended up hitting the Glasgow Kiss onto Ziggler then, and he even tried to go for the Future Shot DDT, but Ziggler hit another famouser. He hit a zigzag then, and even hit him with a Uranagi into the chair, but still it could not work for Dolph Ziggler. He asked why don't die and everything, and Ziggler was pissed off right after that, getting very frustrated, and then next thing you know, he ended up tuning up the band. So Ziggler trying to still be like Shawn Michaels there. He tuned up the band. He was setting up for the super kick. But before he could even run to that super kick, Drew ended up kipping up, hit him with a Claymore kick, and still retaining the WWE Championship. Arguably maybe the best match out of this entire night. Actually, this was really good. Okay, even my friend Steven said this. Ziggler making Extreme Rules for himself. Great. Great action in this match. Cool. But, come on. Did anybody in their right mind ever believe Dolph Ziggler was ever going to win this title? No one ever believed he was going to win to begin with. Even with this stipulation, he was never going to win. I don't think anybody looked at Dolph Ziggler as a threat to win a WWE title from Drew McIntyre, okay? It was never going to happen. This was a great match. It was smart for Ziggler to make the Extreme Rules for himself. But he was never going to win, okay? It was a really good match. Not hating against it. They both killed each other out there. They were beating the living dog crap out of each other in this Extreme Rules match. But Ziggler was never going to win, okay? And, that's the company's fault for how they've, buried him this many years. And, like I said, nobody hasn't cared about Ziggler in years, honestly, ever since the last time he even held the world title and whatnot. No one has cared. So who in their right mind ever believed he was going to beat Drew for the WWE title? But they still put on a great match out there, and I'm not going to take away from that. But still, it's hard to care about this match when there's one person that you don't really care about, and they're not going to win. So that's all I could take from this. But still, a really great match, though, in general. Now we get to this. A match that's not even for the title. The WWE title is on the line, but the Universal title is now on the line in this. The Swamp Fight. So, folks, get ready for more cinematic wrestling, okay? Bray Wyatt, or classic Bray Wyatt, or whatever Bray Wyatt you want to say, versus Braun Strowman. They show Bray Wyatt somewhere, look like in the middle of a road in his rocking chair. Strowman shows up in his truck. He gets out the truck, and he says, "I'm home," even though they're outside. Next thing you know, the lights went out. Wyatt was gone. Wyatt was laughing. Strowman had threw a chair. He threw the chair somewhere, and then Strowman started looking for Wyatt, and I don't know. They had like several animals show up on the screen, and then I'm not gonna call these guys ninjas. I thought they were ninjas again, but these two guys in giant black hoods tried to attack Strowman. Strowman beat them up, and just knocked them around. And then Wyatt's at the funhouse, still laughing, cheering on himself, I believe, in this match. Or I guess you could call this a match. I don't know what you could call this, okay? But Strowman, he fought off the henchmen. I don't know where Bray Wyatt hired these putty guys, so I don't know. Strowman, I guess he got hit in the back with some weapon or whatever it was he got hit by. Some weapon. And I guess he was looking up, and I guess it was he saw the sheep mask again, the black sheep mask, and Strowman saw it. He looked scared, but I don't know. Whatever the mask, someone with the mask, I guess the guy, whoever had the mask on, ended up hitting Wyatt, not Wyatt, but he hit Strowman in the back or something with another weapon, and everything went black then, so I guess Strowman blacked out. And then next thing you know, they show Strowman waking up in a chair, sitting. Wyatt's old music plays, and he's got, the Hawaiian shirt and his lantern right there. Basically, it's classic Bray Wyatt back in his gear. And Strowman's all chained up to this chair. And Wyatt says, I'm not your enemy. And told Strowman, you just like me, man. Strowman says, I'm not. Wyatt pretty much says, this is you special, man. You are. And listen, we could take over, man. We could be gods around here. The governments would bow to us. They would all fall and everything. They would not be able to stop us. But Strowman went on to say, like, I'm never going back to you. I'm sending you back to hell and whatnot. Wyatt basically told him that, listen, man, you want to know something really scary? Huh? He brought in a giant snake then, a giant anaconda it looked like. And I guess it may have bit Strowman, I believe. And then the snake image just shows up. And, you know, I don't know. What was, I don't know if he was having some type of hallucination or something like that. You know, I'm sitting there watching this. Is this even still a match, or is this some type of monologue going on? I even said that. Is this some type of a monologue going on with this? Because there was a lot of talking throughout this scene with Wyatt and Strowman just talking to each other at one point. So when the snake bit him, I guess Strowman, I don't even know where he was. He was beating up these ninja guys again by a fire pit, and he hit one of them in the head with a giant stick or something. And then I guess he set the guy on fire. Or he kicked him into the fire pit. The guy's on fire and he's running away and Strowman's laughing at him. So Strowman may have just killed the guy on this show. Okay, he may have just killed him by setting him on fire, and he runs away. And next thing you know, there's some woman in like a black hooded cloak and whatnot, telling Strowman, like, all you have to do is come back to us and everything. Just stop it. Like, you could, you don't have to do this. And I guess the woman was, it was actually Alexa Bliss making a cameo. And next thing you know, there they show, like, multiple images of them being as a team, as Team Little Big. And Bliss told, like, you can come home, we can be together or whatnot. You've always wanted me or something. So I guess Strowman never hit that, I guess. So whatever was going on with this, it always looked like they were implying that. And Strowman ended up, grabbing the cloak or something like that when he got close to Bliss right there. But next thing you know, Bray Wyatt ended up showing back up, attacking Strowman. He started, beating up Strowman, but Strowman chokeslammed into the boat. The boat went away, and Strowman looked on. But when the boat came back, Wyatt was gone. Wyatt ended up hitting Strowman in the back with some type of a weapon, and he held Strowman's head underwater for a point in time. Wyatt, I guess he disappeared again, and Strowman was, I guess he was walking around, but Wyatt attacked him again, showed out of nowhere and attacked Strowman from, I guess, the deck or whatever they were on in this cabin, or like I said, it's a swamp and whatnot. But Wyatt stood over him and Strowman was on the ground. He hit him with a weapon while he was on the ground. And Wyatt says, look what you made me do. I didn't want this. Strowman ended up getting up. I felt like I could hear his punching effects as this whole thing went on. Like, really, like, real punching sound effects, okay? And Wyatt tried to hit him with another weapon, but Strowman ended up fighting back. And, Wyatt fell. He fell into the water. Okay, he fell in the swamp. And Strowman looked on, which they had the graphic in for, the Extreme Rules graphic. So you think it was over, but it wasn't over. Next thing you know is Strowman looked on. Wyatt, his hand came up, and I guess he grabbed Strowman, like, with the mandible claw, pulled him back into the water, and, like, the water kept going up and down. Then it started turning red. We don't know who drowned and whatnot. Next thing you know, the Fiend shows up. Basically, this looks like Friday the 13th, and Bray Wyatt just became Jason Voorhees right here, okay? And it said, let me in, before the screen went black. Let me say this. They shot this for, 6-7 hours to what I've heard, and we got, about a good 10-15 minutes out of this. I thought it was either good and bad at the same time, alright? I've probably seen better. Listen, man, it's so much you could take from this whole cinematic wrestling thing, okay? It really is. And I'm not sure what you could say from this. Now, yes, the Fiend ended up showing up at the end, which I guess he killed Strowman or he drowned him in the water. I'm not even really sure what happened right here, if he's even alive or dead right now, okay? And since he got drowned into the water, I don't really know what you could else take from this, all right? I really don't know. I guess it really told the story, Strowman going back into, not even the madness, should I even say the madness, or something, but trying to go back to the compound or Wyatt's compound or wherever they, like I said, this looked like something out of Friday the 13th with the cabin and the lake or the swamp and whatnot. It looked like something Jason would be in. That's basically what this looked like, okay? That's really what it did. And like I said, I was just confused throughout a lot of this match. I really was. Like I said, I can't even call it a wrestling match because it wasn't a wrestling match. This was a fight. They fought at a swamp. And like I said, they must be wanting to do this at SummerSlam next and continue this feud and actually put the title on the line, and it will be the Fiend versus Strowman. Because right now, I don't even know what I could say from this. I was 50-50 on this. From a cinematic perspective, yeah, it looked like it was shot really well. I actually thought it was going to go on a little bit longer. I actually did, because at first it looked like it was very anticlimactic when it ended. And I didn't know what else they could have added to this. It just, like, as soon as they got to, Strowman looking in the water, and I thought it was already over, I was like, is anything else going to happen from this? Because this was very anticlimactic. And, Bliss made a cameo and whatnot, but still, I don't know what you could really take away from this swamp fight. I honestly don't know. All right, I probably would have expected it longer. I still will go on and count and say that the Boneyard was probably the best thing they've done in a long time when it comes to this cinematic wrestling. And trust me, I'm sure it'll be more. I'm sure it'll be on SmackDown this Friday when they do this bar fight. Like I said before the beginning of this video, they didn't want to do 2 cinematic matches, so we only got 1 out of tonight, okay? We got 1 out of this. So I don't know what you thought about this swamp fight. I'm up and down on it, okay? I'm really up and down on it. It just... I don't know. I really don't know with this. I don't know. I don't really know what I can take from this all the time. Mostly. I don't know. But, especially when they just sat down and they had Strowman, tied to the chair. I thought it was a monologue going on for a second. I'm like, more action, please, or fighting, or wherever this went. So, that's all I could take from this. Overall, this show was just, I don't know. I've said this in overall this show. You have really good matches, but very bad finishes. The best match on this show was McIntyre and Ziggler. I would have said that about Asuka and Sasha Banks if it wasn't for that overbooking finish. Bad finish. Seth and Ray, very good match. Once again, bad finish, but then again, you're already in a very weird stipulation as it was already, and we already had puke and an eye being pulled out, so that was, you got to take that as however you want to take that, but still a bad finish when you look at it. Bayley and Nikki Cross was good, but once again, you already knew Bayley was going to win. The tag team titles, I was actually kind of surprised by the outcome of that. I didn't even think there was going to be new tag team champions, but I was okay with the opening of this show. I didn't even think it was that bad. The U.S. title thing, that's already a mystery right now. We don't even know what's going on with Apollo Crews, so I just know MVP is the champion. Then why even continue this whole thing if Crews is not even there? But then again, we haven't seen Crews in weeks, so we'll see what happens from that. Overall, though, this show was just... I don't know. Like I said, I said my overall outcome of it, but this was still a pretty bad show. You had good matches, but it's just that the overbooking and, the overbooking of a lot of these matches really ruined it. Especially like the women's match and the eye for an eye thing, but that was already in a strange stipulation. Like I said, I liked the WWE title match. I was probably like the title match I liked the most. And maybe second would be the tag team title match, okay? But the swamp fight, take how you want to take it, but I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm wondering if this stuff is about to look like Mortal Kombat next. We saw a guy get set on fire and we never knew what happened to him. I don't know where Bray Wyatt hired these henchmen from, but I'm not even going to say they were the putties from the Power Rangers. I'm not even going to say that. Because these guys, they just look like some homeless men he found from the street to be henchmen. So, I don't know, man. I'm just going to go on a limb and say Slammiversary was better than this show. At least we didn't get that much bad finishes on Slammiversary and too much... We didn't even get no cinematic on Slammiversary, but at least we got some really great matches from that show and not too much overbooking from it. So, if you want to go check out that Slammiversary review, it is up online right now. Go check that out. I reviewed that last night, so check that whole thing. But I'm done with this review for Extreme Rules. The horror show. The horror show. Okay, the horror show. Or was this a horrible show? I don't know. Take what you want to take from it, but I don't really know. But other than that, though, I'm done with this review. I'm out of here. Like I said, check out my Extreme Rules review. That is not Extreme Rules, but check out, we're already talking about Extreme Rules. Check out my Slammiversary review that is online right now. I will be back tomorrow night for Raw with a review. So yeah, I'm done. Comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and just tell me what you thought about this show in general. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think about all of this? Some would say insanity when it comes to this. Alright? So I don't know. But I'm out. I'll see you guys later. Peace.